Be advised this video is for educational and/or entertainment purposes. Please do your own research to make and come to your own conclusions. Everything discussed in this video has been released or reported in print and media. If you have any information regarding this subject and it was not mentioned in this video, please leave a comment down below and let me know. Thanks. Back in June of 2023, reports had been released stating that Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who was the young weapons expert armorer on the movie set of Rust with Alec Baldwin, had filed an official response in which her lawyers claim they have spoken to multiple others on set who agree that Hannah was reliable, competent, and most definitely was not hungover on the job. Hannah and her legal team also stand by the statement that the allegations are clearly just an attempt to ruin her character. Hannah's attorney, Jason Bowles, told TMZ that the prosecution has mishandled this case and it is so weak against her. They have resorted to character assassination tactics to further taint and trick the jury pool. He also said he felt the investigation was poor and prosecutors are not seeking real justice, but just focused on finding a convenient scapegoat. As for the prosecutors themselves, they seem to say that they do have witnesses that are willing to testify that Hannah was a bit of a party animal during their time in New Mexico, and she was likely hung over from the night previously when the live bullet was loaded into the GUN. According to newly released documents, it also shows that the Santa Fe district attorney says they do indeed have witnesses that say Hannah was drinking heavily and smoking marijuana in the evenings leading up to the fatal shooting on set. It was also put into question and concern how she may have put a live round into a GUN that she knew was going to be used by an actor at some point while filming the scene with other actors and crew members, where obviously it should have been properly checked. When news reports spoke with Hannah's lawyer, he had claimed that his client did the best she could to keep things safe on set, but felt she was just stretched way too thin on a low budget. That was provided. Jason also pointed fingers at the assistant director, Dave Halls, who told him that Hannah supposedly told him to let her know when Alec was about to or going to practice, film, and handle the GUN prior to the scene, and says Hannah was never provided the proper heads up. If you do remember and recall, the involuntary manslaughter charges against Alec were dropped back in April, but it has been said that the prosecutors are still fired up and still eyeing Hannah. Hannah has been recently indicted on a felony charge of unlawfully carrying a firearm in a licensed liquor establishment. She now is facing a separate GUN charge aside from her issues with the whole Rust case. But oddly, the incident actually happened a few weeks before the film's cinematographer was harmed on set. In New Mexico, she was indicted regarding the incident from October 1st of 2021. Hannah continues to claim her innocence behind her lawyer, who has made some bold, unafraid comments in protection of his client. He thinks the whole thing is a smear campaign against Hannah in an attempt by someone and the prosecutor to get any conviction possible because the Rust case and related charges pending with Hannah are, in Jason's words, weak. Hannah had gone inside a store called the Mador, located on West San Francisco Street in Santa Fe, and was carrying her firearm. Her trial in relation to the movie set shooting, where she was charged in January with involuntary manslaughter, is set to begin late February of 2024. The Rust accident happened on October 21st of 2021. Unaliving cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injuring a director, Joel Solsa. In a handful of interviews, actor Alec Baldwin continues to maintain the same answer, that he did not pull the trigger. Now, earlier I stated that prosecutors initially dismissed the involuntary manslaughter charge with Baldwin back in April, as they felt the GUN might have been modified last minute and malfunctioned without his knowledge. As the investigation and testing continues to go on behind the scenes, they have later received new information and analysis of the GUN and plan to ask the grand jury to consider recharging Alec Baldwin. Now, going back to Hannah, there have been many accounts of people saying she has a history of reckless conduct. The defense team contends that there is permanent damage on the GUN due to the FBI testing before defense could examine it, leaning towards destruction of evidence and a violation of the court's rules of discovery. They also added to argue that the selective prosecution of Reed was also in violation by the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment. Now, of course, the calling of the prosecution as selective was addressed, where it was made clear that this was not true. The earlier FBI report on the agency's analysis of the weapon found that it was possible and common with firearms of that design that it could go off without pulling the trigger, in the sense that if it was forced if force was applied to an uncocked hammer, such as if you drop the weapon. The only way those conducting the test could get it to fire was by striking the weapon with a mallet while the hammer was down and resting on the cartridge, and or by pulling the trigger while it was fully already cocked. The GUN eventually broke during these tests. The big question of where did this live round and bullet come from is still a struggle investigators have been working on. Prosecutors have hinted that they have evidence to support a theory that it may have been Gutierrez Reed herself who may be responsible, and if so, they of course plan to press more charges as they see fit. Hannah has a lot going on and a very heavy amount of weight on her shoulders. It has also been reported that she has been given an added bonus charge in the Rust case of tampering with evidence, where new filings from the special prosecutors Carrie Morrissey and Jason Lewis claim Hannah transferred narcotics to another person with intent to prevent the apprehension or conviction of herself of possession. At the time, it was not ID'd. The witnesses who are seeking to testify regarding the drug transfer has been adamant that they feel unsafe and will be exposed to harassment in the high-profile case, as well as fears that they will be blacklisted from the film industry for coming forward with the information about the defendant. The state is actually seeking protection for the identity of these witnesses and possibly other potential witnesses to save them from economic reprisal from the film industry and intimidations and embarrassment from the media. As of November 15th, there have been reports and leaked footage of behind-the-scenes making of the Western Rust. The videos all seem to have something in common, which is showcasing Alec Baldwin interacting with the cast and crew on and off filming camera, and in two videos it showed Alec rearranging staff and positions while expressing concerns of safety. Videos and film in the making of this movie were requested by prosecutors from Rust Movie Productions LLC back in spring, yet didn't receive these 5 short videos until October 2023. Now, if anything, these videos may or may not help Alec, as it shows him in one scene saying to crew to go to the other side of the camera in view, as he did not want to shoot in that direction, which was aiming at them. He was also seen asking for a blanket to be placed beside him off camera, so during the scene he could just toss the GUN aside safely, as the blanket was to catch and break its fall on the floor. But then again, it could be harmful to Alec too, as it seems and shows he was concerned about all sorts of situations on set, but when it came to actually firing scene, he lacked care and concern. If convicted of the charge, it could carry up to 18 months in prison. This is being discussed as some see Baldwin as reckless regarding the weapon safety on set. As for the assistant director, Dave Halls, he pleaded no contest in March to a misdemeanor charge of negligence and recklessness of a deadly weapon, and will serve 6 months of unsupervised probation. Next thing is for the grand jury to weigh in whether there is actual probable cause to bring charges against Baldwin in this investigation. To have him indicted, at least 8 out of 12 must endorse a finding of probable cause. How do you think this case and trial will go down? Do you think Alec and Hannah should be held accountable? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. I'm Leenda, and that's For the Record, Your Honor.